Well, hello, welcome to Kim's Kitchen. I'm excited to have you with me today. I am making mayonnaise. I needed some mayo, so I thought, hey, let's make some mayo and show you how to do it. Very simple process. I don't know about you guys, but I did not know a long time ago that mayonnaise was so easy to make. And with the rising inflation prices, mayonnaise has gotten pretty expensive. So let's make our own, save some money, but also have some fun. You're going to enjoy this. So mayonnaise is simple to make. It just has about 5 ingredients. So you can do some different things with it. But what I'm using today is I'm using half olive and half avocado oil. You kind of want to use a neutral oil for the most part, but I like the flavor of olive oil. So it asks for a cup, and so I have a half a cup of each. And then I have 1 whole raw egg. Now the interesting thing about the egg is if you don't want to do egg and raw egg, you can also use the aquafaba is what it's called. It's the water off of, or the liquid off of your can of garbanzo beans, and you can use that in place of an egg. So we're going to use an egg. We're going to use some lemon juice. I just have a tablespoon of lemon juice there. We're going to use some mustard, and we're going to use some salt. So first thing we're going to do is do them in order. We're going to put in 1 egg. I'm going to do it into this tall vessel, and you'll see why here shortly, because I am going to use an immersion blender to make this. You can use hand beaters, hand mixers, and do them in a bowl, but I'm going to do an immersion blender because it's fast and it's really, really cool. So I've got the egg, and we're going to do this in order of the ingredients here. The next thing is a tablespoon of lemon juice. So I'm just going to pour that on top. Next thing is some mustard. It calls for Dijon. I don't actually have any Dijon, but I have some stone ground, which come to find out that both Dijon and stone ground are made from the brown mustard seeds. So they're very interchangeable. So I have a teaspoon of mustard. I'm just going to plop that in there. Let's get a little more out there. You could use a little spatula, or you can use your little finger there, okay? Then we have going in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And so let's just use 1/4 measuring teaspoon right there and get some salt. And then the last thing we're gonna add is our oil. So we're just gonna pour that over top. Now, kind of the old-fashioned way of making mayonnaise is you've gotta pour the oil really, really slow to emulsify. But this is a great recipe because you could just pour them all in. Like I said, you do it in the order that it asks for. Now we're going to wait just a second, and we're going to let that oil, make sure that oil rises to the top, because that's what we want. We want to start the other stuff mixing on the bottom. So while we're waiting on that, the immersion blender I'm going to use is actually the Pampered Chef one, obviously. And so this is a great tool, and it's part of our Flex Plus food processor set. So you can see some of the pieces back here. It's a big food processor. It's got just those nice blades in there to do, you know, anything that you need to make in a food processor, you can do in here. What I really love about it is ours is cordless. So I can move it around, and I can, you'll see here in just a second, there's a great battery that just pops off and then pops back on. I'm going to put our immersion blender end on it, but I can use the same power pack to power the food processor, which has the blades for slicing and grating, of course. I'll bring those a little closer so you can see them. And then also it has an end to use as a hand mixer. So you can use your little whisks or your beaters that come with it and use the hand mixer part. But for today and for our purposes of making mayonnaise, we are going to use the immersion blender. So I'm going to turn it on. It's real easy, a little button right here on the bottom. Then there's a speed control here. I'm going to turn it up to about medium. And then did we get our oil? Looks like it rose to the top pretty nicely. So now I know you can see that. I can see it right there. So I'm going to put it in, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn it on. Well, now it turned off. Nope, let's go back down. Okay. Now I want you to just watch as this billowy goodness starts to form. You see how that mayonnaise is forming in there? I'm going to pull it up the sides until it's emulsified, and I want it nice and thick. 30 seconds. We're just about there. A little more mixing to do. Get the last of that oil in there. I can hear it's all done. Perfect. So now you can see we've got gorgeous mayonnaise. Isn't that beautiful? You've made your own homemade mayonnaise. You don't have to buy it in the store. You can make it in small batches so that it's always fresh for you. You can I saw a friend do a video yesterday who she took and separated some of this and she put some garlic in one. So she made some garlic mayonnaise and then she made some sriracha style aioli type of mayonnaise and she added sriracha sauce, but let's just get the last of that mixed in and there you've got homemade mayonnaise. Can you see that? Yay! Hey Jan, welcome. Thanks for joining me. So now I've got mayonnaise. Lasts about a week in the refrigerator. There is a couple of ways you can preserve that a little bit longer. One of the things that I do is actually you can ferment mayonnaise. I don't know if you know about how to do that, but you can actually take some whey. Like I use whey that's left over off of making yogurt, and I will take some of my whey and I can put that in here and I can let it set for a little bit and let it ferment, and then that will extend the life of your mayonnaise, your homemade mayonnaise in the refrigerator. And again, if you don't want to use raw egg, feel free to use the aquafaba that you get off of a can of chickpeas when you're making wonderful homemade hummus. So thanks for joining me. I hope you learned something new today, and may all your cooking be pampered.